is 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Rap your city. Let me see the mic. Rap your city. Give me the mic. Rap your city. I got you. Rap your city. I'm gonna tell you how mine. Rap your city.
It's time for us to go live, so rep your city. I really would appreciate if y'all roll with me. Feeling this music cause it makes me wanna step. And if you don't want it to, then you lying to yourself. Cause every time we party, we gon' have fun. I don't know about you, but I'ma rep where I'm from.
Rap your city. Okay. Rap your city. Let me see the mic. Rap your city. Give me the mic. Rap your city.
Welcome to the RYC Live show this evening. I am Artistic, your host for tonight, and this is Throwback Thursday. And as usual, we have a special guest. We have my homeboy, a legend. He is from New York, from the Bronx, New York, to be exact. And tonight he's going to talk about some B-boy history in regard to his contributions and his crew and his affiliations with a lot of the earlier pioneers of hip hop in New York City. So without further ado, let's welcome the man, the legend, Mr. Rubberband.
Thank you very much, Darrow.
Yes. What's happening?
It's a pleasure to be on with you, man. It's a pleasure, you know.
Yes, sir. And hey, man, I'm glad to have you on the show, man. It's been a long time in coming.
Yeah. It's been a while since we talked, bro. It's been a while.
Yeah. So I'm glad we made it. We here, and we are now live. So we're going to get right into our session, you know. And hey, you know, hopefully we can help share some history with people so that they can learn some stuff.
Right.
So let's just go back to the beginning, and I want you to tell the viewers. When did you get started? When did you get started in the game of this movement?
Well, you know something? I mean, the movement started as an urban thing for me as far as dancing. I can remember way back, my mother had me in an African dance, dancing to Soul Makuso way back when I was in the 3rd grade and everything. Mm-hmm. And I did an act with my I believe it was my 3rd or 4th grade class and everything. I was about 12 years old, or 11 going on 12. That was back in 1973. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And the amazing thing about that is that, you know, I wasn't up with what was going on out there and everything on the streets. Everything was Motown. It was, the explosion of the Jackson 5. Mm-hmm. And shortly after that performance, I remember going out with my class to Fordham Road in the Bronx to the White Castles for a day trip, okay? Mm-hmm. And hearing for the first time Dancing Machine by the Jackson 5.
Wow.
Man, when I heard that, I went off and I started trying to do the robot. Everybody was, you know? And that was my introduction to hip hop, not knowing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't, you know. I mean, for me, it was a street thing. It was a cult. It was the culture and everything. And back then, we were also dealing with our Vietnam brothers and sisters mostly brothers coming back from the war. You know, a lot of them were right from it and everything. You know, and that's when a lot of the dope started, you know, people were mainlining and everything down in the lower South Bronx and Harlem, and things were hectic, you know. It was really, really hectic. And we were entering what was known as the race wars.
Okay.
Okay. Even before even before that time, even before that short time that I just spoke to you about, I looked white. I'm Puerto Rican, you know.
Mhm.
Kids thought I was German because I had sandy blonde hair and light brown eyes, like, you know, practically hazel. And my mother, she looked white with a hard Hispanic accent.
Mhm.
So I had to deal with whites knowing I wasn't white, Hispanics guessing whether I was Puerto Rican, and
Okay.
black swearing I was white. You know,
Wow.
so I was caught in between a rock and a hard place. You know,
Okay.
so needless to say, I kind of fought my way through a lot of shit. You know, I mean, I went from being picked on to the one doing the beating down, and so, you know, to the point to where when the crews developed and everything, Van Bada said himself, don't mess with those Puerto Ricans, you know. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. You
Yeah.
know, for me, it started with the dancing machine, straight
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Seeing Michael Jackson and what he was doing and everything, you know, the development of the moonwalk, the side glide, the locket. Around that time, I was trying to capture as much as I can, and in this, and then during that time, I started seeing break dancing in the form of the freak.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it was, or what some people would call also, AKA the up rock. Okay,
Okay.
it was
Okay.
known as the freak, and around that time, there was Rocking Crew Association, because
Okay.
everything was about, you know, rocking and bopping and
Mhm.
dipping, you know what I'm saying, and freaking, you know, and
Gotcha.
gliding, you know, and that's all it was, and funking, you know, that's what it was all about, you know.
Right.
So and I use those terms because that's what we knew, you
Right.
know. This was before the Patty Duke, before the Flintstone. Everything was the freak.
Gotcha.
Okay, so when RCA came around, was Rocking Crew Association between 73 and 75. It's hard for me to truly define the birth date because I was so young.
Mhm.
Manny was about 3 years older than me, and right now I'm old. I was born in '62.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so some people would call him the father of breakdancing because with Rocking Crew Association, so many crews branched out from it. But inside that crew, you had the original Rockwells were in there.
Okay.
Okay, Ramon was one of the top freak masters that
Okay.
was doing up rocking. Okay, so you have freak masters, and then you had the break dancers that were Rockwells. You know, not yet called Rockwells at the time, but they were break dancers, and they were
Okay.
considered the floor masters. So you
Gotcha.
see, Daryl, when I talk to you about the original floor masters, no disrespect to nobody who ever carried that name later on and everything,
Mhm.
but it's safe to say that we were the original floor masters from RCA Freak Masters.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yep. Mhm. Mhm.
you know, and a lot of people have their own interpretation of the floor masters. What I know of the floor masters, okay, they belong to Rockwell Association. You
Okay.
know, Ramon had his brother George, Willie Will, Macho, Tito. I mean, the core members of Rockwell Association,
Okay.
okay, were
Okay.
all part of RCA. Okay, I was still trying to hang out, getting out of the house and everything. However, when I was between 13 and 14 years old, I was basically on my own on the street.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of people have their own story like that and everything, you know. I mean, with no disrespect to nobody or my mom, I love her dearly and everything, but I had a
Right.
hard life, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, put it deaf though, you
Now,
know.
where were you from exactly growing up in the 70s in the Bronx?
I was born in Fordham Hospital on no, not Grand Concourse. I'm sorry. I was born in Fordham Hospital on Fordham Road and right near the Botanical Gardens and the Bronx Zoo and Southern Boulevard. Okay. It turned out to be Ford and Prep down the road. They wound up tearing it down. From there, as a baby, I was my mother carried me. As a baby, I grew up on Grove Street and Prospect Avenue, right behind Twin Parks.
Okay.
So from birth, I was in it. I was right there where Fun City Crew, Apache, Lele, who else? My God. And I don't want to leave out no names. I want to be honoring to everybody and everything. But because Lele and the Fun City Crew, Lele was DJing in a lot of the clubs, a lot of the Italian clubs in and out of Little Italy. Okay. But as just around the time he emerged, you had Hollywood. Okay. Hollywood was perfecting his craft in around 70s. No, not even the 70s. Between 67 and 69.
Wow.
Long before hip hop.
Right.
That's why I'll say it. I mean, I'll say it in a room. I'll say it in the cafeteria. I'll jump on top of my truck and shout it out.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Kool Herc, but the father of hip hop to me, in my interpretation, is DJ Hollywood, and he never gets he never gets enough credit. And the reason why is a lot of people consider him a disco DJ. Yeah. Now, think about the science of DJing. Okay, 2 turntables and a mixer. Right. With a continuous beat. Okay, or continuous with continuous rhythm. Okay. Back in the days, you couldn't spin back on the turntables and everything, so it would be a continuous beat. You would layer on top of each other. Hollywood knew this, and he mastered that. Okay. Now that craft was taken by Kool Herc, who went to see who is this DJ who was also emceeing over the music as well, keeping the crowd thumping and everything. Okay. To me, he was the first DJ MC. Okay. Hollywood used to, Hollywood had a great style and everything that Cass took on and everything, and Cass just mastered. You know what I'm saying? That's why we know him as the Grandmaster. Okay. Yes. A lot of people, a lot of great DJs, and a lot of great MCs, they took a page out of Hollywood. Okay. Hollywood, everybody in all the top performers of their craft, maybe DJing or MCing. Okay.
Now let me ask you, how did you? Because was Hollywood from the Bronx or was he from Harlem?
Well, I mean, he was from Harlem, but I known him when I known him myself being in the Bronx. Okay. So he traveled back and forth. He used to be in the Valley. He used to be around the Vanderchilds High School. He DJ'd in the Stardust Room on Gun Hill and Boston Road. Okay. Okay. He DJ'd it. I think it was the 571 Club or something like that, if I remember the name of it. You know, so when this was the thing about Hollywood, okay, that I remember most, that sticks out like a thorn in my mind. A lot of people talked about Grandmaster Flash and everything, and Grandmaster Flash is Grandmaster Flash. Yes. Kool Herc is Kool Herc. But when the name Hollywood came up, it was like Hollywood. It was like gold. It was like Hollywood in the Bronx. Yeah. People, I mean, that name carried a lot of reverence and respect throughout the whole hip hop community. Okay. So now the reason why I can talk about DJing is because long before a lot of people knew me for breakdancing, and I was breakdancing back in the days, I was also number 4 as a DJ with Rockwell Association. I was a disco action DJ. But like I said, I don't want to get ahead of everything. Okay. Because from RCA became one of the biggest Hispanic crews in the city. I mean, hands down. Okay. TBB was emerging also and everything, and there was a lot between TBB and RCA. Some say TBB came out first. Other people say RCA came out first. I'm not gonna label which crew because I love both. I love Manny. I love Batch. I love Abby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're like brothers to me. And I went to school with Batch's sister Elizabeth and everything. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so our families are intertwined in in a lot of different ways, you know.
Right.
So, but like I said, RCA was going down a path of robbing, and doing so many unsavory things that Macho and Tito and Willie Will didn't like it. So in 1976, they committed to leaving the crew, and
Okay.
it took place in 1977 on August 17th. Okay, where Rockwell officially burned their shirts, had a meeting on 182nd Street. Okay, down in one of the hallways, and was throwing around names. I believe it was either Shorty or CKT came up with the name Rockwell, and then Association after that. And
Okay.
remember the Rocking Crew Association also before that.
Okay.
So so that's what came about with RWA.
Okay.
The first two Disco Action DJ members was Tito and Macho. Then after that was Mike, and then myself.
Okay.
I was breakdancing, but not with the crew competitively. Long before then, I was into disco. I was into up rocking. Well, some people call it up rocking, you know, but doing the freak. I was into locketing, moonwalking, but I was doing breakdancing.
Mm-hmm.
I was competing on the handball courts when everybody was doing the hustle on the handball courts. People were also breakdancing.
Yeah.
They were competing for sodas, for sandwiches, you know, or a whole day where you treat the guy, the winner, to food for the day or sodas, whatever he wanted, because we played handball court. We played on the handball courts, handball all day until the sun went down.
Mm.
So we had the radio going, boom boxing and everything, listening to the music, you know, and in some of those handball courts, you had like in 129 had a handball court, basketball court, but then you had Fun City Crew, Lele, throwing it down. You had Apache throwing it down. You had Little Black, you know, Wizzy Wiz, you know, MCRC, you know, and these are names that you've never heard of and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But these were street MCs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Grandmaster Caz back in the days was known as Casanova Fly.
Yes, I remember him hearing that in one of his rhymes.
Oh yeah. You know, and when it came to the Casanova crew, nobody messed with them. They were a dark horse. They were out there. Nobody messed with them. And Casanova Fly was, I mean, he grew up to be the Rick James of emceeing on the mic, because I remember from time to time seeing him in Washington, you know, in the Washington projects, wearing a cowboy hat, hanging out with JDL, you know, and just standing in the middle of a jam, and everybody just like, that's Caz right there. That's Casanova. Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was, you know, I mean, I've seen, you know, I know Caz. Caz knows me. I know a lot. I know Charlie Chase, but as much as I know them, I'm still starstruck when I stand next to them, because the reverence and respect that they commanded when it came to emceeing.
Yes.
You know, oh my God. I mean, you know, and not to take nothing away from the original Cold Crush brothers. Whip was the original Cold Crush.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
You know, and I'm not sure. I think Ruby D was also and everything. Both of them Puerto Ricans.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So my point that I'm trying to say is I'm Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around dancing since '73.
Okay.
I hear in the community that they didn't see Puerto Ricans until '79 or or 78 or even the 80s. When I first heard that, I fell back on my chair. I'm like, how the hell did that?
Yeah.
Hip hop is not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's not a Puerto Rican thing.
Right.
Hip hop is an urban thing.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it's an urban culture that evolved from our way of life and who we are.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, later on in the 70s, you had the Mercedes ladies.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh yeah, and they were big. You know, 2 female DJs, 5 female MCs, but it originally was 3 female DJs.
Okay.
You know, Terry Sher, I know if she hears this later on, she's gonna be smiling because she knows that only a few people know about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know.
That's what's
it's funny, and I'm gonna bring this out publicly because a lot of people don't know this. Salt and Pepper. Who would you say was the original DJ for Salt and Pepper?
I know they had another female before they had the one that came on. Before
Spinderella. Right. Okay. That was Wanda D.
Oh, so Wanda D was their original DJ?
Wanda D was their original DJ.
Gotcha.
Okay. But you see, like I said, I can go into a lot of other people's cultures and everything, you know. And I could talk about what, but I'm only talking about what I saw, what I know. Yeah. Okay. All of us are around the same age. Me and Kaz are the same age. CKT, the original godfather of Rockwell Association, he's 2 years older than me. And what's funny is this: me and him have the same date of birth, and his mother has the same date of birth as both of us. The reason why I bring it up is because when I was on the streets, Macho and Tito took me in. We became like brothers.
Okay.
They basically saved my life.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to Rockwell that a lot of people don't know. Okay.
So let's talk about this. How did you come up with your name as a dancer?
As a dancer, my name was Lou. On the floor. Some people called me Louie Lou. Some people called me Stretch Lou. It was all kinds of names.
Okay.
The name Rubberband came up around 1978. Macho gave me that name, and it had nothing to do with dancing.
Oh, wow.
It had everything to do with baseball. I was playing the third base line. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Months before playing baseball, he was always hinting and calling me Rubberband, and I hated the name. I'm like, I told him, who the hell are you calling Rubberband? I look like a rubber band to you? and then some of the fellows would say, yeah. And I just walk away, pissed off.
Okay.
Like, no, I'm no rubber band. Who the hell are they to call me Rubber Band? So, you know, sometimes it takes a moment where that happens in your life, and then that's it. It sticks to you like shit on a wall.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now, what happened was I was playing the third base line, and somebody hit a shot. I was playing away from third base. They hit a shot that went over the third base plate. Could have went foul.
Okay.
But I reached over, and it was an impossible catch, and I caught it.
Oh, wow.
Macho was in center field, and he yelled out, "Rubber Band!" And that was it. That was it. After that, I put my hands up. I was like, okay, whatever. Okay. And that's what stuck with me. That's why a lot of people don't know me as a breakdancer in the early 70s, because some people knew me as Lou. Okay? But when they put names together, there was already 2 other rubber bands. One that was TBB, and another one that had the name Rubber Band before him that died. And then the TBB rubber band, may he rest in peace, he passed away. So between the 3 original rubber bands, I knock on wood that I'm still alive. Yeah. Because I have my moments.
Okay. That's an interesting story right there.
Yeah, it is, because you see, I was also known as a bopper.
Okay.
Chicago, Chi-Town knows what a true bopper is. It has nothing to do with dancing.
Right.
Okay. And that term bopper did originate in the Bronx. Okay. It's hard to tell whether it originated in the Bronx or Brooklyn, but it came about in New York. Okay. Just so you know, for the record, I have a reverence and a respect for Chi-Town. I love Chi-Town.
Thank you.
I mean, you're very welcome. They hit the map with the movie Bad Boys with Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people recognize their colors and everything, and it was a throwback of what the early 70s were in the Bronx and Brooklyn, you know? So, but, and it was an introduction to a lot of people. I knew before that movie that Chi-Town wasn't a place to mess with, you know?
Yeah.
So I have a deep respect for Chicago, okay? And your hip hop history and your graffiti history, because you see, some people don't give it the respect they do. They call Chi-Town the step sister or step brother of New York. I don't see it that way.
Okay.
I see Chicago as being a cousin or a brother to, or an extension of New York and what we're about. You carried a lot of our tradition.
Thank you.
You know, and not for nothing, Chicago lived or died under those traditions the same way New York did. So how can I not give them the respect they do? You know, there were brothers dying in the street in Chicago, just like in New York. So you got to give that respect out.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
But anyway, going back, because I go into the woods a lot when I speak. You know.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Hold your thought. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll pick up where we left off when we come back, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, cool. 1 second. RYC Live, rep your city. I'm Artistic, your host for the Throwback Thursdays, every Thursday at 8 p.m. right here live, bringing you the hip hop from the past to the present, covering the full scope of the elements.
It's time for us to go live, so rep your city. I really would appreciate if y'all roll with me.
If you would like to be a guest on the show, please send us an email to ryclive@yahoo.com and send us a brief description of why you'd like to be on the show. Also, take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Welcome back to the RYC Live show this evening. This is Throwback Thursdays, and we have our special guest, Rubberband. Yes, sir, my brother. Hey, listen, I wanted to acknowledge a few comments that came in. We got Taco Bob's checking in from Chicago. He just checking in, saying hello. And I want to
Taco.
Yeah, and then I want to shout out to my homeboy Speedy Legs from Miami, Florida.
How you doing?
Ricky Fernandez. Yeah, he said, "Yo, what's up? What's up?" You know.
That's good. That's good. I pray you good health, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Speedy Legs out there rocking with the Pro-Am. We know the Pro-Am is coming up, real soon. So we hope everybody can come out and show some love and support for that event, recognizing the DJs and the B-boys around the world. Yeah.
Right. Gotta support each other 100% any way we can,
Yes. So, okay. So talk a little bit about how, you as a member of Rockwell, how it began to take form in the 70s to kind of put the dance on the map.
Okay. When we formed, our very first battle was against Star Child of Rock. Okay? Star Child of Rock, and this is coming straight from the horse's mouth. Okay? I'm gonna tell you what a lot of people don't know about Star Child of Rock. They had two break dancers. They had 6 or 7 members in the crew.
Okay.
Only two of those there were only 2 members of Star Child of Rock that were break dancers. That was Mongo and that was Track 2.
Okay, and I heard of Track 2, yes.
Yeah. Okay. If anybody ever tells you that they had an enormous crew of break dancers and everything, it's not true. They only had 2 break dancers. Okay. And JoJo will vouch me on that. Spy will vouch me on that. And the reason why I'll tell you that is because I'm about to tell you a story that not many people know about.
Oh, okay.
Okay. One time, Track 2, okay, Star Child of Rock with Mongo was gonna battle TBB years ago. Batch will vouch me on this. Also, Abby will too. Okay. So, and I bring up names because I just want to show. I want to be clear with the history.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, Spy was supposed to meet either Batch or Abby to go to the dungeon to battle against Star Child of Rock. It was going to be JoJo and Spy, who are original CC crew members. They were going to get down as TVB members to battle against Star Child of Rock. Okay? They were supposed to meet up with either Batch or Abby, and they were supposed to catch a cab down to the dungeon because JoJo and Spy didn't know where it was. They got stood up. JoJo was pissed. He was mad. He was upset that he got stood up for the battle. So him and Spy started walking down Tremont Avenue. Mm-hmm. The words that I'm telling you right now come from JoJo's mouth. So it's not me telling you this, it's JoJo. So you can verify this with him. He's a cool brother and I love him to death. And Spy, much respect.
Right.
Okay. But anyway, they're walking and they felt like they were stood up at the prom. They were just mad. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're walking and everything, and guess who they saw in their travels?
Who's that?
Track 2.
Track 2. Okay.
So Track 2 with the hat sideways and everything looked like a b-boy walking down and everything. So they JoJo comes approaches him and says, "Yo, brother, do you know where the dungeon is?" And Track says, "Yeah, man, I'm going down there, man. I'm battling against a whole crew by myself." So Track 2 with the tissue and the soap opera story and everything, he bears his soul out about battling a whole crew by himself. Mm-hmm. And since JoJo and Spy bonded with Track, mm-hmm. They say, you know, the hell with this. We're getting down with you. We'll battle against TBB. Now,
Okay.
picture this. You got Track 2, Bongo, JoJo, and Spy. You know
Okay.
what kind of force that is?
Yeah, that's heavy.
That's that's like having Wilder, Doc Holliday, and his brothers and everything at the OK Corral. That's
Yes.
a lot of gun. That's a lot of bullets to have in your gun.
Yes.
Needless to say, when they showed up at the dungeon, they were approached by TBB and they're like, "Yo, you're gonna get down?" They're like, "Nah, man, we're getting down with Track." They were like, "Oh shit!" To their surprise, they lost the battle, and Track is walking around like a peacock and everything around the dungeon and everything. With it, you know, feeling like he's an untouchable. You can't tell him nothing. But that was that's what became the hallmark of Star Child of Rock.
Okay.
Okay, Star Child of Rock only had 2 members. JoJo and Spy got down with them on a lot of their battles. Okay, and they won battles, they lost some battles, but they won more than they lost. But as the true crew, if it was just Track and Mongo, I don't think I ever seen them. Just them 2 battle and everything, unless it was just battling against two other brothers. You know? Now Track don't remember me.
Okay.
But as a kid, I moved from Garden Street and Grove, from behind Twin Parks over to Beaumont Avenue. Track used to try to talk to my sister, who was the same age as Track.
Okay.
And he thinks and he don't remember me, but I remember him.
You remember him?
Oh yeah, think about it. A younger brother don't forget an asshole that tries to hit on his sister. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I knew who he was, but he never knew who I was.
Wow.
Didn't know nothing about me. And you know, that's why there's a little bit of a beef between me and Track too, because he thinks he knows me, but I know him more than he knows me.
Right.
Okay, because I was there. I was born and raised where everything started.
Right.
Okay. But anyway, that's nor here nor there. Rockwell Association, they stood on their own merit. We never borrowed nobody's shirt. Okay. And there's a story about that day that I lifted that shirt up and everything. Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna change the subject. I'm gonna change the subject to that real quick right now.
Okay.
I held that. Okay. I was in a battle in Jacksonville, Florida, and that's where I'm at right there, holding that shirt up. I battled about 35 to 40 crews. Okay, They came from everywhere. Okay, the winner of that battle went on to perform for Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. Okay. I got down. I started breakdancing, and then I knee spinned into a wave, and then started locketing, and I got an electric boogieing. Okay. Wow. Now I'm not gonna take nothing away from the dancers that got down. You had dancers that did windmills, that head spinning in unison. I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy battle. So many crews. I won the battle, and right after that battle, in front of my ex-wife, my friend Reginald Williams, and a few people that were there, they took the picture while I held it up right there in front of that skate ring.
Nice, nice. Now, what year was this?
That was 1984.
1984. Wow.
Yeah, that was 1984 in Jacksonville, and then the following week, I performed with Jam Master Jay and Run DMC. You know, nice. I did a couple of performances with them and everything. I mean, let him rest in peace. Jam Master Jay is one of the most humblest. He's quiet. He's a very subdued type of guy and everything, you know?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Run, they thought it was a loudmouth, but it was DMC that did a lot of talking. You know? But he was cool. I mean, they're all cool. All of them. Run, when he gets to know you, oh my God, he's a clown. But they all are, you know?
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. But but like I said, I battled at least about 40 crews. I'm gonna round it off. I don't know how many they were and everything. I performed the LP record of Shannon's "Give Me Tonight," and I danced almost the whole record. I was gassed. Then somebody saw I was really getting tired and asked if he could jump in and help me, and I said, "Yeah, come on, I could barely talk." So he did the lock it with nunchucks, and me and him wound up winning the battle and everything, and we performed. With Run DMC the following week. That's how that went down.
Nice.
But I got a lot of stories like that and everything of battles that I jumped in, and some people didn't think I was a breakdancer, but I was a breakdancer. I can still do my floor moves. Okay, the picture in the middle of that is not me. It's not Macho or Tito. That's Carlos.
Okay.
Carlos Ramos. He was like a brother to me. He took his own life.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's in the picture in the hip hop book on the floor wearing the hoodie that says Rockwell Association. That's him right there. Who Crazy Legs learned and took his style and made it his own, doing the backflip and into the footwork that he does. Okay.
Now is this also him?
That's Willie Will.
Oh, this is Willie Will. Okay, gotcha.
That's Willie Will right there.
Willie Will.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh yeah, Willie Will's crazy and everything. Oh, big pothead, but I love him to death. All the Rockwells are crazy and everything,
Nice.
Yeah. And the thing that made us unique is a lot of factors. One, we were self-contained as far as breakdancers. We didn't. Nobody borrowed our shirt and came in from the outside to rep our crew. We were self-contained as breakdancers. Okay. We were DJs. Okay, we had our own DJs. We had our own graffiti writers. Okay, wow. We also had our own MCs. Cisco Kid used to MC for Charlie Chase, and then became a mainstay. And he was the one that did the artwork for that Rockwell right there with Carlos's face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the corner you could I don't know if you can blow it up, but you'll see Cisco's signature on that also. Okay, nice. He's the one that did the artwork on that.
Okay.
That's cool. And I love Cisco as a brother. May he rest in peace also.
Okay.
Cisco told Harry Belafonte and brought my name up with Steve Hager to try to get me in the movie Beach Street. Because in 1983 when I came out of the military, I bumped into Cisco when I went to the Roxy's with my wife. Okay, and I think this is what set off the way I battled after that, because when I went into the Roxy's, I was feeling the music. I was really feeling it, and I was also seeing everybody getting down and everything. And I don't know whether people talked about me or not, but I wanted to go in there and I was feeling it so much. I was going in there to make a statement. Yeah. So I told Cisco when I saw him, I said, Cisco, I'm going to do a few things you never heard of. And he said, what? I said, I'm going to walk this whole skating rink, and I'm going to battle any and everybody that I see in front of me. Mm-hmm. Okay? Everybody in the Roxy's, if they're dancing in front of me, they're going to get it. And he said, word? I said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna battle everybody, and I'm gonna take them out with only one move, okay? And the trick to that move is that I'm not gonna repeat the move at all for the rest of the night. It's gonna be one and done.
Wow.
Okay. And he said, really? I said, yeah. He said, there's a lot of people in there. I said, yeah. He said, you may have to repeat it. I said, no, I'm not going to. He said, okay, cool. He said, damn. He said, Ruben, you better pack a lunch. I said, yeah, but you still didn't hear the twist to this whole thing. He said, there's a twist on top of this. I said, yeah. I said, the moves that I'm going to use, I never done it before. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Wow.
I'm going to freestyle it like I've never done before.
Wow.
And I'm going to do this for you, Cisco. He said, get the hell out of here.
Wow.
He said, okay. The first person I saw dancing, okay, I went into I waved, I spun around until I wound up into a small package and then went into a tick coming out of that package and everything. And I did it uniquely in a way like I never did before. Okay,
Wow.
and then I walked away. And then a couple of steps, about maybe 4 feet down, there was somebody else that was getting down and everything. So I took 2 steps and I started spinning at least 5 times with my knees. I mean, spinning as I'm going forward at least 4 extra feet. And then I just popped up into a snap wave, looked at the guy, turned around, and just kept walking. You know? And I just started doing move after move after move, you know? And until I wound up where I was, and I had half the crowd of the Roxy's following me. Okay?
Wow.
Cisco, yeah, oh man, Cisco started going crazy. Like I won the Super Bowl. He was like, Rubberband, I can't believe you did half the shit you did. So then, yeah, so he talked about it with Harry Belafonte and the people that were in charge of the Beat Street Network and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But by that time, I went back into the military. I came back from boot camp. But it was talked about, and because of that, Steve Hager came to the block looking for me, but came across Macho and some of the other fellas, and that's what came up. That's how the hip hop book came about.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And that story. Now to go backwards a little bit more. Okay. In 1978 was the last year that of the 70s b-boys that we know of. Okay. In 1978. We've done our battling. I mean, there was Moms and Pops, there was the Dungeon, there was a lot of places. There was basements that we didn't hear of and everything. People were DJing it. You know, Moms and Pops had the Sunken Treasure, 1 and 2. And when they had the first one, I think it was, or the second, around the corner, there was an up-and-coming MC in the Franklin Avenue Men's Shelter. And everybody knows him now as KRS-One.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't know that. Scholar Rock, basically handed him the glass slipper, and there came the bridge is over. The bridge is over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and everything else. I mean, KRS. He's a true brother and everything. I've seen him, but never really met him. You know, I would like to meet him, sit down with him and everything. You know.
Yeah.
There's a lot about him that I know, and we grew up in the same neighborhood. You know.
Yeah. Ain't that something? You
know.
That's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, Rubberband, you actually did you write at one time too?
Yes, I did. I mean, I wrote different. I started writing. Yeah, there you go. You can tell that I know how to write because
nice hand style.
Yeah. I could get a little crazier than that. I mean, back in the days, okay, I was underneath it says president. I was a president of the 3rd chapter. Okay, CKT gave me that and everything, and there's a story to that.
Okay.
Crazy Legs went to Macho and Tito. This was before me, and wanted to be the president of Rockwell Association 3rd chapter. And he went with Lenny Land. Yeah. We are the ground zero of it all. Yes. Okay. Crazy Legs and Lenny, who were Rockwells at the time, and I'm gonna quote Crazy Legs, that he told Macho and Tito that he wanted to carry the name of the #1 breakdancing crew of the 70s into the 80s.
Okay.
And he asked for permission to be the leader of that chapter. And Macho and Tito told him no. There's a lot of things that went on with Rocksteady Crew where they imploded in different ways and everything, you know, that I don't want to bring up because they got some great people there.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at Mr. Freeze, you look at Mr. Wiggles, you look at Fable, you look at Ken Swift, you look at Zulu Gremlin, who is a Rockwell right now, okay, and a lot of different people that were members of Rocksteady crew. I don't want to disrespect their name because what they did, especially Crazy Legs, was they breathed life to what we thought was dead in '78, and they brought it into the '80s and they mainstreamed it and made it worldwide to where we're in the Olympics now.
That's a good point. That's a good point that you just made.
Yeah, you see, so I mean, we could look at the faults of Crazy Legs or any one of the dancers, even myself. What I have to say to everybody is that nobody was an angel, okay? I have my faults, and God can only judge us. If we're going to judge each other for the small things that are going on and everything, then before you judge somebody else, like Jesus said, you know, he who is without sin cast the first stone, because we've all sinned. You know, I mean, nobody's lily white out here.
That's true.
So as far as that's concerned, I'm not going to look at the faults of Crazy Legs. I'm going to look at his accomplishments.
There you go. That's a good point. Good point.
Okay.
Good point.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about. Here's a photo here.
Oh, Batch. Batch. Bomb 5. Oh, that can't be Spec. Is that Spec? I don't have my glasses with me.
Oh, okay.
That's Batchy Batch on the left right there. I love that cat.
Yeah. So he was the member of TBB, right?
Yes, he is. Yes, he's the godfather and the creator of TBB.
There you go.
He dispatched the crew and disbanded it in 1979. A little bit before then, Jimmy D and Jimmy Lee, they had a little bit of the name Rocksteady crew. But just before Batch crashed the crew and burned the shirts of TBB, Jimmy Lee and Jimmy D asked Batch, okay, if they can carry the name Rocksteady, and Batch said, yeah, go ahead, you know, and that's what birthed Rocksteady crew in 1979. Okay. And then the chapter that Crazy Legs had, okay, that started in 1981. The reason why I know that is because the third chapter Rockwell that I became the president started in '81. Okay. Now, it was academic for them to make for CK and Macho to make me the president because I've lived with them. We're brothers. Right. They know my soul. I've bled on the street. I've been stabbed. I've done some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I could be trusted, you know? So, and it was more brotherhood when they, you know, so, and I gave my word to CK, and I told him that people were going to be talking about Rockwell when I get done with this. Right. And I'm doing things around the world right now, and I got projects popping up and everything. But even without those projects, there were things that I did in the 80s and in the 90s, and I've never disbanded the crew. As a matter of fact, I am now the godfather of Rockwell Association. Okay. The original godfather is CKT, but he gave me the reins and everything, and I'm the godfather now of Rockwell Association. Okay. Yeah, I got a chance to look at a recent interview you did with Kid Terrific. Yes. And that was a nice interview, man. I really enjoyed, you know, the way it was put together. And here's a photo from, you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was taken near my house, just so you know. Yes, I live where the water is blue. Nice. Yeah. And I knock on wood for it. It's a blessing. I'm not saying that as to throw it in nobody's face either. I just love where I'm at. I raised my kid there, and I'm very happy where I'm at. You know. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about as the '80s kicked in, and you know, obviously breaking it hit mainstream.
How do you feel about today with it going to the Olympics? What's your opinion on that?
I love it. Everything. Easy from NWA once said it best. All publicity is good publicity.
Okay.
The more is in their hearts and minds, the more people carry that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I thank people like like JoJo, who carried it from the 70s to the 80s. Okay. I thank people like Crazy Legs. I thank people like Speedy Legs. I thank people like I thank people like Mr. Ness. Okay. I thank people, I thank everybody. Mm-hmm. I give them my crown, because if it wasn't for them, I'm not. Who's going to talk about me? They're the ones carrying it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be the one to say, oh well, you would have did this if I didn't do that. No. I feel that's overrated, and that's very disrespectful. That should never be said. Mm-hmm. My version of it is this. Okay, if they didn't take it to the next level, who would talk about the first level? Yeah. That's the way I see it. If they didn't carry it to where kids want to do it, who would want to talk about it? Yeah. There's a stigma going on right now, where a lot of the Hispanics in the history are not getting their just desserts for what they've done in the hip hop community. That's one. Two, there are too many old schoolers that are like old men in the park playing checkers, saying, well, when I was 12 years old, I walked down the block, in the winter with no shoes, and I was the first one to do it like that, and to do the footwork like this. They sounded like Bill Cosby. I'm like, come on. It's really mind-boggling. The hip hop museum is in McCombs Park, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I never knew McCombs Park. I never knew that for ever being the South Bronx. You look at those buildings, Jewish people used to live in them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay? I mean, everything started in the South Bronx. If you ask any hip hopper, anybody from Hollywood all the way to the newest member, to yourself, you know it as a common thing. Yep. It all started in the South Bronx. Yes, okay. Sir. Geographically, the South Bronx, okay, is from Webster Avenue, okay, going to the east where the sun rises, the east into the south, okay, going towards Southern Boulevard, going towards Bronx River, going and maybe a little bit past that. That's all the South Bronx. Okay, McCombs is not part of the South Bronx. That's on the west side. Okay. I never heard in anybody's mouth that hip hop started in the West Bronx. Okay. It started in the South Bronx, and it started from people like Lele, who was DJing in the South Bronx. Okay. One of my interviews in the programs, I brought Lele's name up before Kool Herc, because Lele was DJing before Kool Herc. Okay. But not before Hollywood. But then again, it's hard to say who did what first. I'm not gonna rank them and say you're number one, you're number two, you're number three, you're number four, you're number five, you're number six. Why not just say that we all shared a special moment in the 70s that can never be replaced, that can never be touched. It can be often imitated but never duplicated. Mm-hmm. I feel that I'm part of that special group. Wanda D is part of that special group. A lot of people, Grandmaster Flash, Fun City Crew, Mercedes Ladies, Charlie Chase and the Cockroach Brothers, Tom and Jerry, who Charlie Chase was borrowing their equipment before the Cockroach Brothers. Okay? Wow. A lot of people don't talk about them. Okay? They Also, who else? Mario. Nobody talks about Mario. Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
you know, I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, Little Black. Nobody talks about Little Black and MCRC.
Okay.
Okay, now, or T-Bone. You know, nobody talks about these cats. They weren't all that as far as MCs, but they
Right.
were there and
They
they
were
held
there.
the mic.
Yes.
Give them their respect.
Yes.
They didn't have to be the best MCs out there, but they were MCs.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I said, it wasn't a ranking system about who was the best or who was better than who. It was about grabbing that mic and having fun. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I mean, I could go on for days about that. You know, I mean, I don't care who did what first. I know who did what first. I'm not gonna stand here and start saying, well, this was the first DJ, and this was the first MC, and this was the first female MC, and this was the first female breakdancer, and this was the no. You know why? Because everybody knows who the first ones were.
Yeah.
You know, those people that come out and say, no, I did this first, and start pounding their chest like that, I start scratching my head like this and start saying to myself, I mean, who are they? You know, I'm like, where the hell is this coming from?
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's like I said, I was born and raised right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
So you're out there in Florida now, correct?
Yes, I am. I'm living in Florida right now.
Nice.
I'm loving it down here.
That's what's up. So I wish I could make it out there for the Pro-Am this year. You know, so once again, shout out to Speedy Legs, you know, doing his thing out there. I know he got a lot of groups lined up to perform and showcase the elements. So, you know, just want to acknowledge him, send a shout out. I really enjoyed. I came to the Pro-Am one time in 1998, and I had a very good experience. So, you know, I just want to shout out to my man for keeping the culture alive.
The thing I liked about the Pro-Ams is it's you know, let's put aside the battling and the competition, just the music and the atmosphere alone. It's just like back in the days type atmosphere, you know, and I like that.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
That by itself and everything. I mean, I bumped into Grandmaster Kaz there, you know, and I was still starstruck when I saw him. I bought him a drink and everything. Me and him exchanged numbers. And Kaz, just so you know, this is Rubberband Rockwell Association. I lost your number, man. I wanted to call you, bro. So if you see me, I am me, or you can shout me or shoot me an email, rockwell182@msn.com, okay? And let me know it's you, okay?
The Grandmaster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yes. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandmaster Kaz.
Well, listen, man. Hey, we're just out of time now, but what would you like to say to any up-and-coming artists, DJs, MCs, dancers, graffiti writers? What would you like to say if they're serious about doing something with this as a career?
Okay, I'm going to start with the MCs because the MCs are out there in the public and in the eye of the public. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's Tom McDonald is one of the few, and he's a white boy. He's good, and he carries an old school element about himself when he raps. I want to say this to the MCs first. There's no school without the old school. Carry some of the tradition and put it out there. When the MCs used to MC, it was about knowledge. They used to talk and they used to party. You know, Grandmaster Kaz, just like you mentioned his name. Well, hello, everyone. Yes, y'all, it's me. I'm New York's #1 DJ MC. I'm Grandmaster Kaz, just to doing my thing. I'll write a rhyme, do a dance, or even sing, because I can play away. Until the break of day, I'll put you on hold, just like an OJ. So if you hear that, you hear substance and soul to it. You see? Please, let's not go Cardi B. And I'm going to call her out because that's not substance. Okay? Put your soul in it. Okay? and take it back to the old school, because the old school still rules and everything. Go back and make yourself a wordsmith, a lyricist, okay, like it should be. That's what made Eminem his dollars, because he was a true lyricist, okay. To the DJs, okay, let's go back to the turntables. Keep it electronic, but let's also keep it traditional, okay, and show the real old school style of keeping the beat, okay, not this techno thing that's going on right now. The break dancers, okay? Let's not be too much gymnastic in our break dancing. Remember, we got floor work, we got footwork, we got up rock, we got the floor movements. Stay true to what you have, okay? Graffiti artists are the few people that are holding on to their true element. So I don't have much to say about them. What we need to do, though, is be a little bit louder and more brash in our movement, okay? And we also need to get the politicians involved in it as well. The politicians they're involved in the infrastructure of our young and old. And if we get them involved in everything, it will also bring an element to the hip hop culture that we haven't seen before. If we learn to work with them.
Good point. Good point. Well, hey, listen, man, I really thank you for taking the time out to come on the show tonight. And spread just a little bit of jewels, not everything, but just a little bit,
Right.
And hey, man, you're full of knowledge and history, man. I appreciate it. And hopefully we get a chance to hook up one day soon, man. I'll come down to Florida.
The honor is just so you know, the honor is all mine. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And I honor you. And I honor everybody who just keeps it in their heart.
Word. Well, listen, we're going to go ahead and conclude, but I would like for you to stay on because we're going to close off this live feed, but we're going to go backstage just so I could talk to you just a little briefly, and then that'll be it.
Okay, you're the man pulling the plugs. I don't know what to do with this.
So we want to thank everyone for watching tonight. Once again, this is the RYC Live Show. And, make sure you tune in next week again. We will have our homeboy Sinister Death that will be on the show next Thursday at 8 p.m. And we just also wanted to say, if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us, share, and like on this broadcast. And, hey, if you'd like to send us a donation, please do so. You can send it to RYC Live. The Cash App us at RYC Live. And, hey, send us an email if you'd like to become a guest on a future show. And someone from the team will get back to you, and we will see if we can book you a date for a future show. So until then, we will say good night, and don't forget to rep your city, and we'll be back next week, same time, same channel. Peace.
Peace.